What happened to movie licensed games? I feel like it's a slowly dying out market, and we've had, even recently, I believe, we've had good ones. The one that immediately comes to my mind is the RoboCop one. It just stops right there. Was there anything else in this time frame that's been well and it's tied to a movie license? Remember when you were a child and you went and you watched a movie and you were so enamored, you loved everything about it, and then you went to, like, I don't know, a friggin' blockbuster, and you didn't just see the movie itself. No, you saw the movie as a game for the PlayStation 2, for the Game Boy DS, for the Xbox. You just saw it and you're like, oh my god, I can play as Wally? Or here's even a better one. Remember the old Lord of the Rings games? Yeah, the original trilogy. They had an amazing, amazing game. I loved them so much. The RPG elements in that game, level them up, level up abilities. It was really cool. And you had the options of playing the main cast, and each and every one had a really good skill set. I think my favorite of the trilogy games was The Return of the Kings, and then it was The Two Towers. Movie licensed games fall into a weird slot when it comes to the video game industry because you don't know what you want when it comes to playing a movie as a game. So, do you want to follow the story that you were talking about, or the story that everyone knows and loves, or do you go towards more of an extended universe take? Because it's understandable that some people do want to just play the movie again. That's for sure. It's understandable that someone will go, oh my goodness, I watched this movie and now I get to play it. Or even like Spider Man 1 on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox. They are based around the original story of the movie, but at the same time, they add some new extra things that weren't in the movie. It's like the Shocker fight in the Spider-Man game. The Shocker wasn't in the movie, but he was in the game, basically. That's what I'm saying. You have that kind of integration where you try to build onto the story, or you take the original story of the movie and then you build onto that, or you just go completely in the direction of just extended universe stuff, so you would go in the direction of like Alien Isolation. All of these things work properly if done right. But my biggest issue has to be when a movie licensed game actually becomes an online game, a live service game. At that point, you can expect it to die. When? Who knows? But it will die, and I'll explain why. When it comes to movie licensed games, it's very obvious that you should be following the source material. You should be following whatever was already laid out and you have paid for through the license. You cannot add anything new. That's the biggest mistake when it comes to this, because if you have something like Friday the 13th, well, you have all the movies. Yes, that's true. But what else are you going to do? After you put all the maps when it comes to the movies, where do you go after that? After you use all the maps of Jason X and Jason Goes to Manhattan and all of these movies, where do you go after that? It's done because you don't really have any creative liberties when it comes to these games and trying to build onto them. You can't do anything after that. It's the same idea with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You even have the issue with The Evil Dead. And the reason I decide to focus on these kinds of games is because they all follow one simple thing. They are all an asymmetrical team game style. You will all be hit by limitations from the license that you buy for these movies. And then where do you go after that? You're just done. You just have to sit there and just watch it slowly dwindle in the player count. And then it starts losing money instead of profiting. And then at that point, you just have to pull the plug and the game is done. Which is why I think games like Dead by Daylight, Roblox, Fortnite, they're good in the aspect of, hey, if you don't know what to do with this specific license, hey, you don't need to build anything new. Just give us the license and we'll play around with it. I mean, seriously, look at everything that Fortnite has right now. Look at what people have created in Roblox. It's crazy over there, and these kinds of things get to live because of these games. Like, look at Chucky. We never ended up getting a Chucky game, did we? No, but we have him as a killer in Dead by Daylight. It might seem mean if I were to say, oh, well, the studios are just buying those licenses so they can make a game and just have a really fast cash grab when it comes to live service model and stuff like that. And sometimes it really does feel like that, because instead of giving it to someone like the Dead by Daylight developers and then they can create something for you with the characters you have made, no, you would rather just put your money into one thing and try to gain as much profit out of it instead of having to split it, and getting enough just to make sure that you can break even, and then when it dies out, hey, who cares? No, that just sucks, man. You can't let things just die like that, please. We've had enough games dying right now, and there are people talking about how they're going to crack down on game preservation and emulation, so this is just going to make things even worse. Single player games will always be the top best thing for movie licensed video games. And usually, you know what they do with those movie licensed video games? They follow the source material to a good level. You know who doesn't do that, by the way? Video game licensed movies, or even TV shows. Now, hang on, I will say it. The Mario movie was good. I enjoyed it. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie was good. I enjoyed that. I can't wait for the second one to come out. But you cannot look me in the eye and say that the Resident Evil movies, the original ones, as good and fun as they were, followed the source material to a T. Yes, we had Raccoon City, we saw Jill, we had Nemesis, but even Nemesis, they messed a little too much with his backstory. But then no, you have things like The Witcher. You have the Halo series. In the moment that the director or anybody tied to the series making it says, hey, we don't care about the source material, you know for a fact you have to get out of there because you're not in for a good treat as an enjoyer of their game. I'm not going to say as anybody, as a normal person that never enjoyed it. Maybe if I were to watch The Witcher, I would slightly enjoy it. I don't know, but I don't like fantasy either way. You know who did the opposite thing? The director for the Fallout series. He said he locked himself in and just played Fallout 3 and almost lost job opportunities. And look at what that series has become. I believe it won a couple of Grammys with it. Deserved, by the way. And what happened with the Halo series? What's happening with the Witcher series? Yeah, they're not having a good time. Deserved, by the way. I don't know. That's how I've been feeling about movie licensed games, and it's been sitting in the back of my mind. It just feels a little selfish in my eyes. I don't know why. It just does. If you don't know what to do with it, just give it to someone more capable and knows what they could do with it. And hey, you might end up with something really nice. And I'll repeat it again. You don't need to follow the movie story. Hey, completely go and continue with the extended universe things. That's even cooler because then you can add some callbacks to the movies. You can do some extra things for the new people enjoying it through the game instead of the movies. So yeah, everybody can have a good time with it. And one more time for the video game licensed movies and shows, follow the source material. And that's the end of the video. Hey, if you enjoyed it, why not like, subscribe, and tell me in the comment section below, what movie games did you play in your childhood and even now? Which ones did you enjoy? And if you didn't like this video, hey, I'm not going to tell you not to dislike it. You can go right ahead. And I hope to see you here next time. See ya.